Good morning and happy Saturday, traders. I'm going to talk or recap yesterday's afternoon session into the close. Well, unfortunately, I was had things to take care of, so I couldn't be in the office for the second half of the day. Hence why coming out with this recap. So, if you didn't watch the first recap of the opening session and my daily plan and everything that went into it, I would definitely suggest watching that one first. But nonetheless, let's get into it. So I had to leave, I believe it was like 1:30, and I could leave with a clearer conscience. And when I say that, I mean that I had a good, I felt there was a good probability that a trade setup would not set up for me. And so let's look into why I said that. And just before that, for additional context, before yesterday's open, I wanted to point out this. So on the 6th, we could see here, obviously, huge push up and then huge volume node here. Even though this is a buying imbalance, you should not ignore the 129,000 contracts, pretty much 130,000 contracts being sold here. Selling balance and thin tape on the top, signaling at least potential exhaustion. And sure enough, we did get some exhaustion. 7th opened and dipped down. But we closed at the highs. So why I highlighted these 2 days was because we had lots of volume underwater, closing at the highs. So this was fuel for the push up, and that's why I only gave one sell zone in my daily plan yesterday, is because I wasn't interested in any minor zones that we could have on the way up, even though, 5-point pullbacks, maybe even 10, but, I kind of wanted to look for a more higher quality setup with less risk and more reward potential. Not only that, but this time I'll pull up the TPO, and I did talk about it in the last recap, but it's still very important to take note. So, as I've said over the past week, we've had balance down here. Price is happy to trade down here, and eventually we broke out of balance. Once we broke out of balance, trying to establish value higher, we came here. Whoops, sorry. And you can see in this tail right here, we tested prior balance and now are accepting overbalance and building value higher. This was the overnight session coming into yesterday, and this was very telling. You could see we had a little 2-day balance here, 2 days worth of value, balance, whatever you would like to call it. Yesterday's overnight session, you could see we held it. So we are accepting value higher, and now it's time to look for the next area of interest. We had some single prints here, as well as a previous market high here. So that's why I was looking so much at around this area. So building broke out of balance, accepting value higher, and now we're looking for where the market wants to clean market structure and find balance. So I already knew that we were going to go up pretty high, but after the open session, let me just run through it on the tape. So this is a 30-minute chart. After initial balance, some people use the first hour. I do the first half an hour, tomato, but nonetheless, we close the first half an hour of the day above so much volume is underwater, so I know we're going up. Same thing, second candle of the day, not as much volume underwater, of course, and not as much closing above them, but we still have volume underwater. You can see the thin volume nodes here. Those are all these shorts scrambling to get out, tripping over themselves, making fuel for the fire. Next, then we have sellers here, front running my level, and I kind of pointed, or I did point out in stock twits rather, that if these shorts get ran over, they're going to be the fuel for the next leg up into our zone. So we have sellers here, buyers here. What happens? As always, buyers stop losses get ran. You see these thin prints, buying imbalances, exhaustion at the end, small contracts being transacted at the bottom, holding this cloud, and eventually long stops are going to be ran. Now it's time to run their stops, and that's exactly what we do here. Pop up, see these huge volume nodes, Now I was starting to look, maybe we can get a trade, and this next 130 candle negated that, and that's when I was okay to leave, knowing that I probably wouldn't miss anything. Why do I say that? We had this selling balance up here, so if I'm looking for a short, I want to see sellers moving down on the footprint, pushing price down. And what do we get? This candle opens, we dip down, zero print, pushing back up, double buying imbalance. Buyers are holding this level with another buying imbalance, zero print again, so short is not looking likely. So I eventually came back to my desk, I believe it was 3 or 3:30, and started posting updates on StockTwits, kind of warning people, yes, this is a zone that I want to be active short in, but not right now. Thankfully, with the footprint, you have levels always, of course, not just in footprint, but you have your levels and your zones where you want to be long and short, and footprint allows you to know your levels and your zones are your where, but the footprint helps you with the when, and I'll show you why. So I came back. To the right here is a 4-hour candle. This is a daily candle on the left. So our 4-hour candle closes at 2 p.m. and look at the amount of volume that's stuck underwater. That is very telling, and that's why I'm saying look where this candle closed. Yes, we have a zero print. You guys could say, oh, I thought that means exhaustion. It does, but you have to see the context around it. You know, every selling imbalance isn't a short, and every buying imbalance isn't a long. Context is what matters most. And as you can see here, yeah, we do have zero print, selling imbalance, but look at this volume compared to the sellers. This is nothing. This is a lot of volume underwater right now. Next 4-hour candle opens at 2 p.m. Dip down, zero print again. We're coming up. So totally hands off for the short, just looking at the 4-hour, but you have more confirmation on your daily candle. If you look at this daily candle, you could see how much volume throughout the day was just being ran over, everyone trying to short on the way up. And I said sellers need to add big time for any chance of late day fade. You could see they're trying in the selling zone. Selling imbalance, really good percentage wise of 41,000 contracts sold under 4,400, but still compared to the volume we have underneath, we're going to want to see this volume node build out a lot more. So hands off for now. Footprint lets you know the when, as I was saying. So I was posting updates, and I wanted to stress again, this was around 3 o'clock still. I was pointing out all these sellers who are underwater. So to be cautious, you want to see a big sell position. You want to see on the footprint that market makers or big hands, institutions, whatever you want to call them, are on your side before you take a trade. And at this point in the day, they definitely were not. And thankfully for that, I knew to be hands off, and sure enough, we pop up. And remember that selling balance? It's no longer there. They got ran over. You'd see a large amount of contracts. I believe before there was like 4,000 contracts transacted up here. And now, obviously, there's a lot more. So all those guys got ran out, just continuing to run over all the shorts, hands off, at least for now. And as we pull back into that volume node where previous sellers were, you could see they are adding the contracts. Now we have 54,000 contracts sold here. They're trying to do their job, but they can't get the selling imbalance yet. So still hands off, but you could see they're working. You see this volume node's building out. It's bigger than the one underneath, of course bigger than the one on top, but you still have these huge volume nodes. Sellers have lots of work to do at this point. And sure enough, this last screenshot that I just showed was at 3:55. I posted on StockTwits, and this was at 4, right on the close. Look what happens. No surprise. Here, right at the close, they slam about 15,000-20,000 contracts, build out that volume node as I was saying, get a nice selling imbalance, and right into the close, you got a little drop. But that late in the day, the last 5 minutes or something, I sure as heck am not looking to enter a trade. I'm not going to be expecting, especially on a Friday, some huge dump right before the close. So I just left it be. But thankfully with the footprint, if this came up here and I saw this earlier in the day, I would definitely be looking to enter a trade, but not this late in the day. The hand was only shown at literally 4, so too late. If you're still watching, thank you. I kind of announced yesterday at the end of the market recap, I'm looking to, or a lot of people have reached out to me from StockTwits, have DM'd me, people have been leaving comments on here, and I got a few emails of people wanting me to go into more detail of how I trade and how I use the footprint and everything that I use. And I am open to that. If you are looking to be a part of it, I want to have a small room. I don't want to have some big room with a whole bunch of people. So it's going to be behind closed doors. Limited amount of people. I already have I think 15 or 16 people who said that they want to be a part of it. So if you do too, just send me an email. You don't have to say anything other than you would want to take part in it, and I'll take your name down, and you'll have a spot reserved for you. But it's just something low-key. I'm going to teach, obviously, all the tools that I use, how I trade, and then we'll have a small group of like-minded traders and just a small community. So yeah, happy Saturday. I'm going to start recording introductory courses for the room, obviously. I'm going to go into much greater detail. But yeah, excited for the future. And I will see you guys, if not another video this weekend, I will see you on Monday. See ya.